All right, Blaine, look, I don't really want to be the one to talk about, a war that's going on, but there's one that not a lot of people know about that you want to spread the word about.
Well, it's crazy that not a lot of people know about it. It's the largest war, that's happening under our feet we've ever seen. I get bored at night, all right? And I watch YouTube. That's what I do. When I'm done watching all the sports and, I learned everything I need to know. I watch YouTube, and I came across an ant war. And it started in Argentina.
Of course it did.
The Argentinian ant. They're extremely buttoned up in their process and just the way they want things run. Fierce fighters. All right. And so they spread throughout everywhere. And somehow on a boat, they made it to America.
They commandeered a boat.
And made it. They hopped on a boat, rowed somewhere to America. And now they're trying to take over America. They're killing all the ants, but they ran into a problem. Especially from the south.
All the American ants.
The big red ants.
Fire ants?
The big red ants.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Not the fire ants, but the big.
The huge ones walking around the sidewalk.
That are impossible to kill. They're impossible to kill.
Are you in a video game? Because I just looked up Ant War, and it says Ant War is a computer game by Windows published by American studio Anarchy Enterprises in 2000.
I think you're looking.
In 2000?
Yeah, I feel like.
You think I'm playing a video game from 2000?
I feel like in your head you're in a video game.
My Xbox can control the lights in there, and you think I'm playing a video game from 2000?
They didn't have video games
most fun.
2003.
But no, as I was saying, they're in a huge fire now with those big red ants. Those big red ants are starting to kick their ass.
I love that. Listen,
so
you come over to
America's
America.
getting defended right now.
Look, you come over to America. I don't care if you're an ant, a zebra, or a flying elephant. You're going to catch the hands. They're ready to eat for everyone.
These mitts are
now the Argentinian ants are figuring that out. And look, I like Argentina.
Great
I heard
food.
some of the best bird hunting around. I'd love to go, but don't send your little insects over here to cause problems because you're going to see what happens.
I agree.
Don't come at the queen. You know what I'm saying?
You are the queen.
Another great day of SEC media coverage. Mississippi State head coach Mike Leach is going to join us. The ACC is already starting their media days. We'll give you the most intriguing team there. And obviously, it's rapid fire time after the All-Star game was low scoring, which nobody wants. I'm Jay Crain, and this is Crain & Company. There's been a certain team in the SEC with the new head coach that's gotten a lot of hate here lately. And I get it. You go to Florida. Of course, I'm talking about Billy Napier, and the expectations are going to be really high. I know Dan Mullen and them that don't have the roster where they needed it when Billy came over. But I think people are really sleeping on Billy Napier. I really do. And now with the transfer portal, you can turn around a program so quickly. And it's going to take him a year, probably two. But recruiting right now, I know, isn't bursting through the door, and I'm going to tell you why. It's something similar happened with Brian Harsin last year at Auburn. That's why people are giving him a pass. And now this year, they are getting a little bit worried because when you take over a place as a head coach, the class that is your first class when you're there, which is really what I count this one for Billy, because again, you got to remember the timeline of when he was hired. You haven't formed any of the relationships with these kids because he was at ULL. I'm sorry, Louisiana, whatever they want to call themselves now. It's amazing. The transition's complete, Jonesy. When you go from Louisiana, not LSU, but Louisiana to Florida, you're not recruiting the same kids. There may be a little bit of overlap, but when you walk in with that Louisiana shirt on, you're going after a different flavor ice cream than if you're going in there with a Florida Gators shirt on. So there's not a ton of overlap. You're going to know the high school coaches. That's the easy part. But as far as the kid, as far as the kid's parents, as far as the kid's grandparents, it's really, really hard to get someone to trust you to give you their most prized possession for 3 to 4 to 5 to, hell, in Miles Brennan's case, 13 years, which is their child. So all the hate for Billy on the recruiting trail, and I know Mario's gone to Miami and Mario's doing well in recruiting, but we got to think about where Mario Cristobal was and who Mario Cristobal is. Billy's just breaking into the big time. He's getting his first couple at bats in the major leagues right now. Mario's been doing his thing in Oregon. He got the blueprint from Saban in Alabama. He's paid his dues, and he's from Miami. He is Miami. He's Cuban. It's an unbelievable fit. So of course Mario's going to hit the ground running. So I'm going to tell everybody out there right now that's sleeping on Billy Napier in Florida. I'm not saying this year it's going to hit. I'm not even saying next year it's going to hit. But do not be surprised if you look up here in 3, 4, 5 years. And Florida's starting to look and play a little bit more like the Florida you expect, because it's still so weird to say that Florida does not have an unbelievably talented roster, because they stay with athletes. Yeah. They stay with game breakers. And Florida's a place that you can spin and flip pretty quickly. So there's going to be a lot of hate on Billy Napier, especially in recruiting, but you got to understand the process of it.
Well, Florida fans shouldn't be discouraged because Mario Cristobal is coming into Miami, because Florida is one of those unique states that has enough athletes to go around. And traditionally, even when Florida's been good, Miami and Florida State have been good as well. Now, not necessarily dynasties at the exact same time, but this is like what we were talking about yesterday. This is a unique time where all three of those schools are kind of flying under the radar. So what better time is it to come in and be the head coach of Florida?
No, I'm with you. And sometimes it's good to have Alabama doing what they've done has had to make Auburn better.
Sure.
Like, iron does sharpen iron. Now, do you want your rivals to have the best team in the country? I mean, as a guy who grew up in Auburn, having Bama and Georgia running college football isn't exactly a Cinderella story for me, okay? This isn't a Disney movie the way I imagined it. But if you're Florida, having a good Miami's really not that bad. Having a good Florida State is not that bad. It attracts more to you. So I'm kind of in the vein of, I want you to be good, but not great. I want you to be good enough that the game matters. I want you to be good enough that kids want to come to Florida to play that game. I want you to be good enough that it's a primetime game that has a ton of views and sells a ton of tickets, hot dogs, and jerseys.
That's how I feel about Michigan. The fact that Ohio has been so good for so long, and even Michigan State. I mean, now that it means something when you win those games now, because those programs are so good.
No, it does, without a doubt.
The thing that scares me about Florida is they did this, or Billy Napier. I mean, you brought a bunch of guys from Lafayette, where you were, to where you are now.
What's the matter with that?
You're not going to know the state of Florida. You're not winning the state of Louisiana recruiting if you're going to bring a bunch of guys from Lafayette, and you're not winning the state in Florida. But in my opinion, you should have got at least some guys on your staff who knows the ins and outs of recruiting the state of Florida. Cristobal is balling right now in the state of Florida. Billy and them are not doing that well at all in the state of Florida. And I understand you brought guys from Louisiana. You're not even winning the state of Louisiana. I would have had at least a couple guys on my staff who knew the ins and outs and the back roads and how to know. Because every kid from every state, and Jake, you can say this, they like to get recruited different. Kids from Florida like to get recruited different from kids from Louisiana. Kids from Bama are different from kids from Georgia. And you always want that in-home guy on the staff, and they don't have that.
Well, let me ask you this. Number one, you're never going to beat LSU in the state of Louisiana in recruiting. So trying to sit here and say Florida's going to win the state of Louisiana, you might as well just put a bunch of people on
that's not what I'm saying.
Okay. Well, I'll let you clarify that. But if I'm Billy Napier, or if I'm anybody that's had any success, I've worked my way up. I got my way to Louisiana. I stayed with guys and it worked. It worked. If there's an old saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Why would I not take the guys that I know are loyal to me, which that's disappearing from the game really quickly? You got guys that they know what you expect. They understand what the script's supposed to look like. They understand how it's supposed to operate. They understand how to win their room and how Billy wants the meetings to run. Of course you give those guys a shot. Now, I'll agree with you, and I think they probably should have added a few more high-profile names, but I don't think you cut guys totally off just because you're leaving a place to go to a bigger place.
I'm saying you should have got somebody.
And I'm with you on that, but the state of Louisiana thing, clarify that for me, because I didn't understand what you meant by that.
Well, you brought a bunch of guys from Louisiana, and he said he still wants to recruit extremely well.
Brought Corey Raymond?
Yeah, that's what Billy said. He wants to recruit extremely well in the state of Louisiana, and you're not doing that right now. So I can understand bringing guys you trust and guys who've been on your staff and guys you know that are loyal and you know how the X's and O's and how you want things done from the daily operation. But you need someone on your staff who can go into Florida and win recruits.
Well, there are people in that building. There are people in Gainesville who were with the program before Billy got there. You know, they may not have assistant coach by their name, but there's all sorts of administrative positions that sort of keep the great parts of what we're already at Florida when a new head coach comes in. Like,
yeah.
You guys have seen that.
No. And you got the old heads that have been there forever and the ones
want to keep the right one.
Because not everybody's like Saban. Saban goes in there and fires everybody that ever worked there.
Yeah.
But Billy's a little bit different. Now, I'll say this. I am not going to judge Billy until he has till the class after this one. That's the only way I can judge you. And really, in reality, these relationships are going back 3, 4, 5, sometimes 6 years. Recruiting is different. Kids are getting recruited in the 6th, 7th grade now. Even before that, we've seen some of the offers that have gone to 12-year-olds and stuff like that. So it's very hard when somebody has built up a rapport and a relationship for 4 to 5 years with a kid and a family, because most of the time, The family's making the decision, not the kid. It's a common misconception. Everybody thinks, oh, he picked this, he picked this. No, I'm going to tell you, mama picked that. Mom and daddy picked that. Grandma picked that. Grandpa picked that. Auntie picked that. Uncle picked that. So there's a common misconception when it comes to recruiting sometimes, and I think we got to give Billy a chance. But I thought we'd play a little game on this Wednesday here in the ATL, in the dojo. All three Harus. We all know that. Hopefully, not heading to Beverly Hills soon. Of all the 4 teams going today, so Cone, we got Florida.
Yep.
We got Arkansas. We got Kentucky. And we got Georgia.
Yep.
We thought we would have one phrase, sentence or less, describing how we feel about the trajectory of those schools. How do you want to play that game?
Let's do it. Let's start with Florida.
We can just call it SpaceX. Show me your trajectory.
SpaceX. Okay,
You want to start with Florida?
Think they'll sponsor this segment?
Yeah, we'll see. Elon, you got my number. That was a lot of fun the other night when we hung out, me, you, and Brett Favre. And,
You hung out with Brett?
yeah, me and Brett Favre and Elon Musk and
Must
Chipper
be nice,
Jones
man.
and
that was me.
oh wait, no, that was Cone and you. Sorry, I was thinking of a different night.
All right, Florida.
Florida, Blaine. What do you got? What's your phrase for Florida?
I've got a bad feeling about this.
Is that your phrase?
Yeah, that's my phrase.
Your phrase is I got a bad feeling.
What a
Bad
start.
feeling about this. The more I look at it and the more I just don't like it. The more I don't like it. Billy, hold on. Jeez. Billy, to me, one is a great OC, and you go back and, he had some certain things with his Lafayette players that didn't really add up, like the $50 improve the college fund that all the players have to play. Go back and look that up. I saw that last night. You have no 5 stars right now, and you're at Florida. I didn't know that was possible. You have a quarterback right now that a lot of people believe in. Your roster's a mess. It's going to take a couple years, I'm sure, but I don't know if I see Billy here for a while. I really don't. And I'm going to be honest, I was a big Dan Mullen guy. I thought Dan Mullen was a great coach, especially a great offensive coordinator. And I know he was going through some things, but he was putting guys in the league. Your defense was not good. I still think you kind of got away from Dan Mullen at the time. Maybe you really didn't need to. I mean, you got to think they went for, I think a year before that, went to the SEC championship game and lost a close game. So I can understand the move, but I've always been a big Dan Mullen guy. But to me, my saying for this is I've got a bad feeling about this. I don't know if this is going to get much better.
All right, well, I had a saying, but I changed it. My saying for Florida is Blaine is totally wrong. It was going to be quicker than you think, but now it's Blaine is totally wrong.
Okay.
Dan Mullen got fired not just because of the win-loss record. Dan Mullen got fired because he hitched his wagon to Todd Grantham. The players couldn't stand him. They were transferring quicker than people trying to get across the border from Mexico right now. And also, when you looked at the trajectory of Florida and their roster, and you look at Georgia, and you look at some of these other teams, they were going downhill. Which you want to talk about not believing something? You can't believe Florida doesn't have a 5-star right now? I can't believe their roster was as bad as it is when Billy inherited. It was good for them to get rid of Dan Mullen because that ship was sinking about as fast as humanly possible.
Comparing rosters to Georgia, a lot of people are going to look back.
It's Florida. It's Florida. Florida should always have a good roster. Florida should always have an elite roster.
Not as good as
Florida
Georgia.
recruits itself.
When's the last time Florida had just as good as roster?
Blaine, I'm saying compared to what Georgia and A&M and obviously what Bama's done. You look at what Tennessee's doing. Look at the East. Shane's in South Carolina. I mean, and right now I got them going 2-6. I don't believe in Spencer Rattler, but right now, the way they're recruiting and the way he's turning that program around, they're hotter than a fat kid in a sleeping bag at summer camp.
I mean, they were in the SEC championship game a year before.
When you look at and what happened, they fell off a cliff. They got players throwing shoes to lose games. Dan Mullen lost control. And when you lose control, think about the coaches that have success in college football. They have total control. Saban has total control. Joe Pa, total control. Bobby Bowden, total control. Kirby Smart, total control. Brian Kelly, Notre Dame, total control. I will go down the whole list. That's why Kirby Smart didn't take the Auburn job. That's why Auburn's a problem, because you can't give them full control. But Dan lost control. So when you're looking around the yard, you walk in here, and you're looking to your left, and you're looking to your right, and you got Mike Tyson, and Muhammad Ali, and Joe Frazier, and you're walking in here looking like Jake Paul's brother, there is a problem. So Blaine is wrong. That's my saying.
All right. Well, I'll follow that up from my phrase for Florida is take your shots while you can.
Ooh.
Take your shots while you can. Because this isn't a program that stays down very long. Now, whether it's Billy Napier or not, to Blaine's point, I don't know. How long will he be there? Can he be the one that actually turns this around? I don't know, but this isn't a program that stays down very long. So go ahead and take your shots now. Sort of like what I say about, when we talk about Alabama's dynasty, it's like that's not going to happen forever. Programs go up, programs go down, So take your shots at Florida while you can because they will be back.
All right. Do you want to go Arkansas next?
Let's go Arkansas.
Let's start with you, Cone. Let's start with you.
Arkansas, Texas, we own you. Now look, it may not.
I can feel it.
May not happen this next season or the season after that, but based off what they did last season with beating Texas and Texas A&M, they ran through your whole state. They ran through your whole state, and with what Sam Pittman's doing over there, and I can't wait to be able to talk to them today when Arkansas rolls in here. Texas, they owned you last year. They did. And so Texas A&M, they faced Texas A&M early in the season in September. I believe it's September 24th. The Aggies are going to have to atone for that.
No, they will. Mine for Arkansas is It's a Love Story, baby. Just say yes. I mean, it's a Taylor Swift song with Sam Pittman right now. But you talk about fits in college football, and this guy's a great fit here. I mean, every time he walks in the room, I mean, again, I can just hear it. I can just hear the, it's a sun and whatever, the love story song by Taylor Swift.
Continue.
And look, Arkansas fans are saying yes. And guess what he's saying? Yes. She finally you went to their dad, the Waltons, and got down on one knee, and he said he'd let you marry her. So when you look at the best fits in college football, I really believe from an identity standpoint, and that's so huge when you're trying to develop culture. You look at the way they've recruited. You look at the toughness of Arkansas. There's a reason I got them going 9-3. But Sam Pittman, to me, could possibly be the best head coach to program fit in college football. And I don't think I'm crazy saying that.
I'm not surprised. Yeah, I agree with that. I had a saying on here, but I kind of want to change it. It was Arkansas, if you build it, they will come. But they kind of already somewhat built it. So I'm going to say seat at the table.
Ooh.
Arkansas is starting to become that team that, that has that seat at the table.
I'm vibing with you. I'm right
We're
here.
at the kids' table for Thanksgiving. Hey, quit being so loud over there. Make sure you don't spill anything. Next thing you know, you're walking over to the big boy table. What's up, Coach Saban? What's up, Coach Smart? I mean, other than that, maybe what's up, Jimbo Fisher?
Get out of my chair.
Yeah. Leave. But they're starting. They're, in my opinion, closest to Tennessee, but they're the most trending up team in the SEC.
Look, until A&M shows me they have a quarterback, I'm with you, dog.
No, yeah. I don't want to watch A&M go 8-4. A lot of people don't realize, but A&M, from an explosive offensive passing, was one of the worst teams in the SEC last year.
Max Johnson came over.
Jimbo has to start being a lot better, especially explosive plays on offense. But you bring back KJ, you got Bumper Pool, you bring back Catalan, the safety of
him.
And you walk in there, there's just belief and hope just floating around in the air.
It's a good vibe.
And that's dangerous.
Well, to quote former Globo Gym CEO, White Goodman, there's a good energy in the gym.
Yeah,
right
there
now,
is.
Arkansas. There is. But next one, Coney, what do you
Kentucky.
like?
I have the blue collar boys.
I like this.
We're talking about two programs that remind me of each other, Kentucky and Arkansas. I wish we were going to see that matchup this year, actually. But the blue collar boys, that's how they win. And I was talking about Michigan State earlier. That's another program that reminds me of that. That mentality of, look, for 4 quarters, it's going to be a dogfight against us. I don't care if it's at our place. I don't care if it's at your place. I don't care how many players we have injured. I don't care who's starting at quarterback. Get ready for a dogfight because that's what we're bringing to the table. And it just so happens that, they have to run up against another program in Georgia in the East every year that has the same mentality but is a little bit more talented than them when it comes to the athletes on the field. But still, Kentucky's going to beat a lot of people for a long time with that mentality.
I'm with you, and I'm so excited and we're going to talk about the SEC West and how good it is, and we get it. But I'm so intrigued over the next 3 to 5 years to watch this SEC East blossom.
Yes.
I really think there is a chance that and again, we have Mike Leach on. We're going to get to that in a minute. But he talks about the depth of the league now. Imagine Tennessee in year 3 or 4 with Heupel, having another quarterback come in too. I know Henda's doing a really good job. South Carolina with Shane Beamer, getting into year 3, getting into year 4. Billy with a chance at Florida. Drink, the way he's recruiting right now, you got Luther Burden last year. It's going to take time to build that thing at Missouri. Vanderbilt, we appreciate you guys showing up. But
they're going to be the best team in the SEC in a couple of years.
Yeah, in what? In what? Underwater basket weaving?
Excuse me.
Or what's the dancing where you have the flag like Will Ferrell from Old School, where he got on the floor and did the flag and came down? And I think it was like this.
That was beautifully done by him.
I think it was like this. I think it was someone like that.
The first rule of that routine is you don't talk about that routine, okay?
Well, it was one of the greatest routines I've ever seen in my life. That and when Simone Biles, when she used to try and do gymnastics. Anyways, Kentucky for me is, here's what I got. Mark is better than Cal. Because I would be doing everybody in the show the crew, the people behind the scenes, the Daily Wire a disservice if I did not take every shot at Calipari that I got when it comes to Kentucky.
Man.
But what Mark Stoops is doing is it's so underrated. Like, the man does not get enough love. People in Kentucky really love football now. It's never going to overtake basketball. That would take a long time. But when I look at Kentucky, and I said this on Radio Row yesterday, Mark Stoops it's the Charmin Ultra treatment. He does less with more than anybody in the SEC, while Stoops does more with less than anybody with SEC, while Cal does less with more than anybody in the SEC. Can you imagine if you gave Mark Stoops the ranked classes that John Calipari had? Kentucky recruits itself. And I know Cal's a good recruiter. And to be honest with you, I like Cal. I don't dislike Cal. But Mark Stoops, to me, is the best coach in Lexington, and it's not even close. That's why they paid him. That's why they're like, please, Mark, stay. And I'm going to be honest with you, this dude may be the most underrated coach in college football, and he's built it from the inside out. That's the only way you're going to survive. It's the only way. It's like getting a dominant rebounder in basketball. You have to be good enough up front, because sometimes everything's not going to be clicking. Sometimes it's going to get muddy. Sometimes it's going to get ugly. But Kentucky has totally flipped their identity into a hard-nosed up front team. And you know, when you play Kentucky, it is going to be a fight every single game. And it's fun to watch Mark Stoops do it. It's fun to watch the way that he's done it. And I'm in awe of the Kentucky program and what he's been able to do there.
All right, I'm going to go one of the best coaches out there, in Rick Weiss. You got to keep it steady.
Yeah.
Is that what
Keep it
Kentucky's
steady.
doing?
Yeah, you got to keep it steady. I love Mark Stoops and what he's doing there. And that man, that contract he signed deserved that buyout. Good luck. I mean, he's not going anywhere. But you got Will Levis, and they're always, the one thing about it, they're so consistent. Is why I enjoy watching them. Like, you know what you're going to get out of Kentucky. You're going to get the downhill running, a physical defense. You're going to get Levis on the boots, out of the pocket. And I know you lost one of your best receivers, but the reason I like Stoops so much is, you know, it's always the same guy. He seems like always the same guy when he walks into the field house or the office. He's always the same guy. As a guy like me who's been a coach before, that's the type of head coaches I like the most. A guy that I know who's going to walk in the door and I know exactly what he's going to be about, has a routine, and the same guy. And that's one that Kentucky has fed off his energy and who he is. And Kentucky is a team this year to watch out for in the East.
They've adopted his identity. They've 100% adopted Mark Stoops' identity. You can, whenever you do that in a program, you got some, because that means they genuinely believe in you and they genuinely believe in what you're saying.
All right, last one, the Georgia Bulldogs. You want my phrase? Have you guys seen that movie Snatch with Brad Pitt?
Pitt.
You seen that Snatch?
Yeah.
All right,
Teddy
my phrase.
Winklevoss?
Yeah, look, my phrase for the Georgia Bulldogs is, you like dags? 'Cause you're about to get knocked out, all right? Bare knuckle boxing style, all right? Mark Richt did such a wonderful job at Georgia, building up the culture, recruiting great players, and running a program the right way. Kirby Smart's taken all of the best aspects of that, kept it around, and improved on it, and put this dogfight mentality into that program. Really.
Yes.
I mean, now they're reigning national champions until the season starts, until someone else goes out and get that crown. They're national champions. Exact same thing we said last year as it related to Alabama. So I don't expect much changing for the Georgia Bulldogs as it relates to their trajectory. I think Kirby Smart's going to build a dynasty that's going to be here for a while. You're about to get knocked out.
Yeah, first off, I love that movie. Snatch is fantastic. Mine is the new Walmart. Look, Saban's not coaching forever. And do I think that Georgia and Kirby Smart will be able to replicate what Nick Saban have done? No. But somebody's got to be the new Walmart when the old Walmart shuts down. Or it's like when the father who started the business, built it up into this monster, the son takes over, the oldest, you know, the next up, next in line. Game of Thrones reference, House of Stark, however you're feeling about it. I feel like Georgia is the next big bad boy on the block. And A&M, they're working their way up there. The SEC is going to be really, really deep. But Kirby, you've got the hard part behind you. Like, now you're going to work and you're going to grind the same way, but you got over that hump. You know you can do it. Those young guys saw those older guys say, you know what, we're going to show you how to do it, and they did it. So now you have the recipe. Georgia, to me, is going to be the new Walmart. Does that mean, again, that they're going to have a dynasty like Alabama? I don't think so. But this will not be Georgia's only national championship in the next 5 to 10 years or in the Kirby Smart reign. I wouldn't be surprised if he got 3, 4, maybe 5. And I'm not talking about when LeBron lied to everybody about how much they were going to win in South Beach.
That was good. Good ending.
Before he became LeBron James.
No, I was trying to find something that I could relate to Stetson Bennett in the phrase, but I
Mail time.
So the Georgia one was probably the hardest to me. So I go back to what, Mike Tyson. Georgia needs to be Mike Tyson. Someone needs to look at him like, Georgia, who you want to fight? And you need to say Achilles. That's who you need to say. I know you beat Bama, but you still need to have that expectation and that projection of Bama's still our Achilles. I know you beat them once, but you're going to have to go through them again. And you know you've done it, and you're the guy right now. You're the team that's defending the city. The city of Georgia. They called on you, Kirby.
The city of Georgia.
They called on you in Athens to walk out there and defend the city. I don't think you'll beat Bama, but I think you'll be the closest team that'll do it this year. But I don't want anything. We did it once. We're good at this. No, we're still every day we're fighting Achilles. And Achilles
Wait,
Bama.
if Kirby Smart is defending Athens, does that make him Leonidas?
Could be. No,
Who's he kicking down the well?
Well, they had 300. It's more of a Caesar thing, but yeah.
All right, that's a great segue. We've got Mississippi State head coach Mike Leach. We talk everything from Will Rogers, how deep the SEC is, the time his buddy shot a drone with a shotgun, how much he loves this bat, and what he wants to do with it. Look, it's Mike Leach. Enjoy the interview. This one's an all-timer. All right, everybody. Very excited to welcome in head Mississippi State football coach, one of my favorite guys to interview, one of our favorite guys to interview, Coach Mike Leach, the one and only. Coach, I appreciate you taking some time up here in the dojo.
Well, it's great to be here. You guys took the time to decorate the room. I mean, others just like king paper and, throw stuff on the ground and hope that their guests won't notice. But, we notice this type of thing.
Oh, no, we go all in. We're trying to air raid the room. You know what I'm saying? We're finding the best opportunities, putting stuff there, put liquid paper on a bee, it died. But, Coach, unfortunately, we do got to talk a little bit of football, so I'm going to go and get that out of the way. Will Rogers, to me, when I watch Will, and obviously, having experience in your system and you guys knowing each other, you've talked about on the show before how important experience is at quarterback coming back. But having a guy like Will that can operate it, that can make every throw, just talk about how much easier that makes it going into the season with the guys around him and chemistry and stuff like that.
Well, I think it helps a lot. I think Will did a good job adjusting to the situation as a true freshman and had a big year last year. Led the conference in passing, and then and I think a lot of that has to do with the fact the way the team responds to him, his ability to elevate the level of play of the people around him, and he gets better and better at that. And of course, him and Sawyer Robinson were very competitive through the spring too. So I think that part's good. And then we're not crazy old now, but we do have a lot of starts under our belt because of, we didn't have any choice had to play all these guys as freshmen.
Well, Coach, too, and something we talked about when we've had other coaches on is, again, we always talk about receivers and all that stuff's great and DBs and stuff like that. But, to me, the game will always be won and lost up front regardless of what system you run. And when you're playing in the Southeastern Conference and going up against, teams with a ton of depth up front, I always talk about, everybody talks about the SEC as, oh, it's Alabama and Georgia. Like, it's just some one-off. Like if you just take care of that, then you'll be fine. Is the strength of the SEC, in your opinion, the grind of the schedule, and there's not a week off, and every place you go is hostile, and they think their team should win?
It is now for sure. I don't know that it always been. Yeah, it's always been, but it definitely is now.
Yeah, and I mean,
first of all, I can't think of a bad team in the SEC right now, and the other thing is the worst one's pretty good. You know?
It's true. It's everybody. Some people call the conference top heavy, but again, I think you see teams like Texas and Oklahoma. You come in, you're gonna learn.
And the thing is, they haven't always been bottom heavy, but they are now.
Yeah, that's very true. I mean, what you guys have done at Mississippi State, elevating, and we're looking around the conference, and like you said, I mean, if the SEC was a stock, it'd be going through the roof, and that'd be a great situation right now. But Cone, take it away.
Well, I love listening to you talk about football, but it's your worldly wisdom that has always been my favorite part about you. So I was going to tell you, I have an 11-month-old son, right? And he's become mobile now. He's on the move. The house is being destructed. I told my wife she can have him for the first year. After that, I really have to take over.
Yeah.
Do you have some fatherly advice for me, for an 11-month-old?
I'll tell you, hey, so my son's got my son's, so it's my grandson. And we call him the Joker because he'll just stand up and he'll just laugh. And his mouth's kind of shaped like the Joker. And it's like he'll think of something funny, he just laughs his ass off, right? And then, but I'll tell you this, what happened the other day, you have those laser pointers, and you can use it for a cat too. But so my son starts putting it in front of the kid. Well, this mobility started speeding up. That kid started grabbing.
Tell me about
Oh
it.
no,
Right?
he runs him all over the room. Now, I mean, he may have to get something on his knees after crawling all over. But I'll tell you, I would start with a laser pointer and I would run some drills. Like zigzag.
Coach.
You put some drill that Darby Lee. That's coming straight from Coach Leach right
drill.
there. He'll be taking 5-step drops for the time he's 2.5.
Oh, man.
No, okay, and then yeah, exactly. And then by the time he's 2, he's ready for the sand.
Right,
That's
exactly.
exactly right.
We're going to drop back, see a 1-5 sky, bark fire zone. Maybe identify that, Coach.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Coach, look, I know you've got enough football questions. Last time we kind of had you on, we talked a little Black Flag, the show. Is there anything good out you're watching right now? No, I'm on Netflix. I can't find anything good.
They said that, and I haven't been watching Netflix. I'm watching Better Call Saul.
Yes.
I can't wait for the next season of Yellowstone.
Nice.
And then lately, I did record several seasons of the early Gunsmoke, so I'll do one of those every so often. I'm trying to think what else I'm watching.
You seen Top Gun yet? The new Top Gun?
Yeah, it's good.
I thought it was really good.
It's
I
even
haven't
better
seen
than
it
the
yet.
first one.
I'm with you, and I've gotten absolutely slaughtered with
I have
my
to
friends
catch
for
up.
saying that.
No,
Made
it's
$1
even
billion.
better than the first one.
I agree. Well, when I'm going to see it with my fiance, we booked the tickets. Everybody in the world's going to watch it. So we go to the theater in a SEC town that can be disclosed later. But we go to the theater, and so I'm sitting down, and we're getting ready to watch the movie, and all of a sudden my chair starts vibrating like this and rotating.
it's one of those
It's one that
theaters?
somebody, I guess, had reserved the seat and didn't show up, and it was so dark in there. I sat in there, and Coach Leach like, I'm fighting like whoever Tom Cruise is fighting. And I'm going to be honest with you, I thought I would enjoy it when I started it. Actually, I thought the chair was going to blow up when I sat down, to be honest with you. But at the end, physically, it was like I just, fought somebody in the Coliseum or something. I'm not a fan of it.
Well, I'll tell you another good one. Well, the Better Call Saul guy did a movie, and this was during the drought. I mean, this is like where everybody's celebrating COVID and all that crap. Okay, so then this was right when the movie theaters opened, called Nobody. Did you ever see that?
Is that the
movie?
one where so Bob Odenkirk? Isn't that where he beats the dudes up on the
Oh,
bus?
yeah.
I saw
Yes.
a little bit of it, and then I had to take a call. and I wouldn't watch
Where
any of
he's
it.
different than you think? Okay, no, that was a great movie, and it was right when you needed one because you would have settled for anything at that point.
That's exactly right.
And it turns out to be a good movie,
So if Better Call Saul, obviously you've seen Breaking Bad then. Obviously
Yeah,
you're a fan of Breaking
yeah.
Bad. Who is your favorite character in Breaking Bad and why? Is it Walter White?
No, Saul.
Of course. God, the math adds up on that one.
Saul. Well, the biggest thing is all the Salamancas are fun.
They are. They are.
Oh no, the other guy, the Chicken Man, he's pretty good.
yes, Gus.
Gus.
Gustavo.
Yeah. Gustavo, yeah.
Fring. Man, that was
That-
one of the
yeah.
best shows.
Wow.
That was one of the
Oh
shows.
no, I'll tell you the one. You know the kid on that was on Friday Night Lights. That Stone Cold Killer,
who is it?
Then he'll apologize. Well, I'm sorry to do that to him, and he seemed like a nice guy. And no, it's Jesse.
Jesse Paul? Is he Jesse Pinkman in the show?
No,
I'm trying to think. The kid from Friday Night Lights, Cone.
No, the killer. Later,
killer.
he's not till towards the end.
My future self is disappointed at my present
Yeah,
self.
well, my future self was disappointed
Well,
in your present self.
I'll tell you that he's the one. He's the guy that is the quarterback's friend.
Jesse Plemons.
Jesse Plemons. Let's see a picture. Oh, yes. Yes, the kid on who's his best friend. This guy.
Yeah, he's the
yes.
He is
He's in so much.
He's
he is
good.
the coldest West Texas killer of all
Yeah,
time.
he shoots that kid on the dirt bike. I remember that. That was
yeah.
wild, but
Doesn't even hesitate. Just
doesn't
go
even
straight
hesitate.
to the vehicle.
Pure sociopath.
Boom.
That's exactly
I was going to
right.
ask you the same question about
And
Yellowstone.
then he's like, well, I guess we better.
We got to get the gas.
I love that. I was going to ask you the same question about Yellowstone. My favorite character is Rip. Who's your favorite character?
Oh, Beth, without question.
Yeah. So,
Good choice.
Well, I
power
mean, Beth is key to every scene, I mean, because Yellowstone, and they picked a really good kind of deal to pattern it after. I mean, every people model after other people, situations model after this, that, and the other thing. I mean, because to me, Yellowstone is Dallas, the show Dallas.
Okay.
And I wasn't a huge Dallas guy. I've seen a lot of them. But Beth is JR. I mean, simple as that. Beth is JR. And then, well, the one brother, Jamie's Cliff Barnes. Kevin Costner's Jock. They didn't mess with Miss Ellie on this one.
Okay.
And then, and so it goes. I mean, well, and then Casey is Bobby, although he's a better version of Bobby in my opinion. And then, Rip is like Ray Krebs, but he's a meaner Ray Krebs.
Okay. I'm gonna have to go back.
It's interesting because I grew up in Cody, Wyoming, and so I was invited to be in the parade for the 4th of July parade, and the Grand Marshal was Cole Hauser, who plays Rip.
Nice.
Yes.
Isn't Dallas that show where they killed the guy off, and then the last one it was like a dream, and he was really alive? I believe that's the same.
Yeah. They shot JR. They had to bring him back.
I mean, sometimes you got to
You
be
hate
like
to see it.
It'd be like killing Beth.
Yeah.
I mean,
show'd be done.
would it be unexpected? Sure.
Yes.
But I mean, that would mortally wound the show.
It would.
Thrones,
And Coach, I know we're short on time here, but I would be remiss if I didn't ask you something that really, really bothers me. Obviously, right now, there's a certain company that says they've invented a sentient robot, and Will Smith's getting too old to save us from the robots again. He's too busy fighting Chris Rock right now. But are you worried that eventually robots are going to take over the human race if we keep making them smarter? Because eventually, it just scares me to death because, you know what? People fighting people's one thing. People fighting robots, I'm not a fan. It worries me.
I see you're armed with the.
Look, we're ready to go.
This'll handle
We're ready to go over here,
Look at
Coach.
that.
It's a Daily Wire
America
bat.
first. Speak softly, carry a big stick.
That's
I mean,
exactly
yes.
right. Peace
Yes,
through
sir.
strength.
And then, but strength first.
That's exactly right.
and then, hey, I know a guy. I'm so jealous of this. And then, well, this was when I was in Wyoming, and he's way out, and I can't remember the details, but he actually checked with the authorities. These guys were flying drones over his land.
Don't trust them.
Well, he shot it with a shotgun. Now, who hasn't wanted to do that?
It's skeet shooting, but with machines.
Well, yeah, but more stuff will fly
That's
out of
exactly
it.
right. That's a good point. Probably think it's a UFO.
Oh, I've always wanted to shoot a drone.
That's
with
what
a
I was going to
shotgun.
ask. I mean, are we getting to the point of supervillains? Bezos is up there. Do we really know? I mean,
Well,
Bezos has more drones than
Well,
anybody. Elon Musk.
Blaine makes a good point. He's worried when the richest people on the earth are trying to leave. Like every one of them is starting like a space program.
That's what
so,
I'm worried.
Oh, really?
are we going to have a supervillain eventually? Because if we have a supervillain, we have to have a superhero. Somebody's out there.
Tom Cruise.
Well, there is that. And then, I better not get in that one.
Okay.
And then, it's a little bit like when prior to the Alamo, everybody decided they needed their own state, their own country, so they headed to Texas to stake it out.
That's exactly right.
That's true.
That's exactly right.
That's
Well,
true.
Coach, it's always an honor to interview you, man. We're really rooting for you guys. It's exciting to see the progress that y'all have made. I know you're excited for the season, and you're always welcome to come back. We'll talk a little football and have a little fun too. And we'll get you a bat. You want a bat?
Oh, hell yeah.
Well, you know what? You want this one? Y'all can take this one. We'll give it to you guys. That's sound. Just don't hit anybody with it, because that's on y'all. But anyways, we really do appreciate you coming.
Where
on.
do you get these bats? You make
TheDailyWire.com, Coach. It's right
What,
there.
you
It's
order 'em?
ingrained. Oh, you order them, whatever. We could get you a personalized Mike Leach bat if you want one. We know enough people that know how to work with wood.
No, I definitely want a really cool bat. Are you kidding me? That'd go in my office.
Okay, well, it's
it's done.
happening.
There
You
you
might
go.
as well
Done.
mark it down. But, Coach,
There'd
it's
be
always
definitely some big sticks done.
That's exactly
sir.
right.
Yes, sir.
That's
Thank
exactly
you.
right.
Yes, sir.
Definitely. All right, make sure you subscribe. Coach Leach, one of the best ever. The Air Raid. You better figure it out. Obviously, Mike Leach is gold. Really appreciate him coming up here. Our buddy Brendan Langlois as well for allowing us to talk to him. Coach Leach, we have to protect this man at all costs.
Yes.
But if you want to protect the show at all costs and you want to watch the rest of it, remember you can listen here. Go to thedailywire.com, become a member, or
Listen on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. Subscribe, leave a 5-star review. We'll be right back, and I'll tell you which team is the most intriguing in the ACC, and we're going to do a little rapid fire. Pa-pew, 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 pa-pew. All right, thank you guys for coming back. A little bit of SEC flavor to start off. We are at SEC Media Days here in Atlanta. I'm just making sure Sherman isn't marching through here and this place is burning down.
He's not.
It's not, but Kirby's going to be marching through here later, so it's going to be on fire. But let's talk a little ACC here. Mm-hmm. I am just super jacked and tan about seeing where the ACC is going to end up because we've seen Clemson really kind of put themselves to the forefront. They've basically been an SEC team in the ACC the way they built it in the front seven. And then 7 deep on the offensive line. To me, though, I know DJU's coming back. I know the young kid, Cade Klubnik, they're like, DJ's lost a bunch of weight. I'm looking if you can throw the ball better. Like, again, I don't care how many Slim Fast you drank, but how good can you throw the ball? Clemson, to me, is the most intriguing. And we mentioned this guy a little bit earlier. And I'm high on him. I'm super high on him. I'm front row of the Bob Marley concert high on him. And that's Mario Cristobal in Miami. You got Tyler Van Dyke coming back, who just put on a butter festival last year, 3,000 yards, dude, the 25 touchdowns, I think, 6 picks. I know you lost some guys, but you got Parrish coming in from Ole Miss. You returned some offensive linemen, and Mario Cristobal's getting in the room. They're headbutting lockers, eating whole blocks of cheese and huge deli meats. He understands what to do up front with those guys. Miami, to me, is back.
Already?
I think they're back.
They're already
And I don't
Already?
say that. I'm not
They're
one of
already
these people
back?
that every year they're like, oh, Texas is back. I am telling you right, Miami is horrifying. If you're in the ACC right now, don't think when Dabo puts it in, I love Dabo, but when he puts his head on the pillow at night, or maybe he wakes up in the middle of the night like, ah! Like in Mario's just standing at the end of the bed, you know, like when people say they get abducted by aliens. Look, he's just looking at him like this, and it's like a green neon light and gold teeth shining. I'm telling you guys right now, defensively, Miami, I know there's some questions in the secondary, but I like what they've done in the portal, but look how they're recruiting right now. Mario, make it like we were talking about the other day at SC Media Days, he may get the top 2 offensive tackles in the country. If Miami gets nasty up front, we know the type of skill players that you can just walk outside and grab. And Miami, without a doubt, without a shadow of a doubt to me, is the most intriguing team in the ACC. And don't be shocked, fellas. I'm going to do my Lee Corso with this pin in mind. Don't be shocked if Miami comes out of the ACC this year on
already.
top.
Already. I like that pick. Miami's always intriguing, no matter if they're up or down, just because they have such a great pedigree. But I'm looking at NC State right now.
You're high on NC State.
I am, just because it's so rare that we're able to talk about NC State being relevant in football or being, exceptional in football. And I think they actually have a chance to be exceptional and maybe even win that conference this year. Certainly their division. I mean, the Devin Leary kid can just play quarterback.
Yeah,
any way you cut it, he can spin the football, And so they return a lot of starters. They had a good season last year. I think, Wake sort of took some of that thunder last year by having a really great season, and then Pitt as well. But I'm looking at NC State to really do something this year.
Yeah, and to me, it's funny you talk about NC State. The biggest wild card to me is North Carolina on the other side.
Okay, Mac Brown.
I mean, look what they've lost. Look what they've lost. But I'm with you, man. I don't think it's crazy to think NC State has a shot, to win the ACC outright. Anyways, I think it's good for the ACC that Clemson isn't the only one that we're going to be talking about. Now, if DJU does play better with the roster that Clemson has, with how talented they are up front, they should win it. Yeah. They should win it. Really, but I got a weird feeling, man, about Miami. Again, the spidey senses, like I put my hand on the wall, it's stuck. I was Tobey Maguire this morning for like 30 minutes.
Really?
I was looking for Kirsten Dunst, and then I realized I didn't think she was that good looking. But anyway.
She died.
Whoa.
She died in the movies?
Spoiler alert. I was going to watch that.
Like
a lot of fish in the
4
sea.
Spider-Mans ago.
A lot of fish in the sea.
This is what I'm taking. Hey, give me Wake Forest. All right, give me Wake Forest.
Big Sam Hartman guy.
Look, I mean, you add you return 4 guys up front, which is big, anyways. You lose one of your 1,000-yard receivers, but you still have 2 guys who are really nice. You have shared carries in the backfield. The only big thing about it is their defense.
Yep.
I mean, you got to stop the run. I believe they brought in Brad Lambert as a new coordinator there, who's a great hire. I think he'll do a lot better job there. But, I mean, you go back to an offense, and I always say the most important position when you bring back experience is quarterback. And you bring back Sam Hartman, who I think is going to be at least a top 7 quarterback in college football. I think you put Devin Leary up there, too, as well. But if they play better defense in the system and the scheme that Wake Forest runs, they're going to be successful. And you go back to it, and And the thing about it to me is you average 41 points a game on offense.
It's a lot.
That's pretty darn good. And if you can have a mediocre to good defense, you can win the ACC. I mean, they won their division last year with a terrible defense like they had. So I think they could do that again this year with a somewhat improved defense. And if they can give Clemson a run for their money.
Do you think a quarterback from the ACC, I'm not saying he'll win the Heisman, but he'll get invited to New York? I mean, look around.
That'd be fun
you
to
got
see.
Van Dyke, you got Hartman, you got Leary. I mean, you can go down the list. I'm interested to see Jerkovich at Boston College, too, what he does coming off an injury. So I would not be shocked to see a quarterback from the ACC end up in New York, not to win the Heisman, but to be on the stage. It's going to be pretty interesting to see. But I'm going to go a little rapid fire here.
Yeah, rapid fire. Let's start with the All-Star game last night. Low scoring affair.
Yay!
I didn't hit my parlay. You know,
What's
it
in
is
it?
what it is. I had the American League winning, which they did because they always do. So that half of the parlay was safe. Then I decided to take the over at 7.5, which I was on the fence about. I mean, you have the best arms going for one inning each, basically. So you know it could
Well,
be
it was 3-2
fest.
in the fourth.
Well, the under had hit 12
Yeah.
out of the last 15 games
Yeah.
in the All-Star game because it's tough to get in a rhythm
I
like
know,
hitting
it
in the
is.
All-Star game because you're not getting 3 or 4 at bats.
Yeah.
They're giving you 1 or 2 at bats and then it's out. You got a new pitcher. You're
pitcher,
facing
I
guys.
know.
I tell you what, the low scoring All-Star game I'm not a fan of. To me, it's like going and watching a 3-point contest with a bunch of centers. They can't shoot. If I'm watching an All-Star game, like Blaine says, I want 500-foot home runs.
So I want.
I want people hose at the plate. I want stuff like that. But I did think it was cool they mic'd up the pitchers. I think it was Manoa, but one of them was like, hey, man, talking to the catcher's like, how hard am I throwing? The catcher's like, 94. And he's like, man, I thought the adrenaline would have me pumping up. And then he struck out a guy. He's like, here we go. When he turned around. So I love being mic'd up. I think they should mic up the pitchers during the games. Like I think it's one way to kind of get close. You don't have to, Blaine, they're not going to do it live. They're not going to let them just say whatever they want.
I'm all for
But should there be a channel that you should be able to turn to that you could...
A little
we've
extra
gotten like
$5.99 a month.
Look,
Listen,
we've gotten like 3 or 4 really good ideas this week that I'm afraid we've said on air.
like a little extra $5.99.
Little $5.99, what can you call it? Like dead zone?
Like,
instead
the
of
thing
red
about it,
zone?
like pitchers are some of the craziest people on that field.
No, they're insane.
They are insane. Look a pitcher in the eyes for a little bit.
Look at what Chris Sale did to that minor league bathroom.
They're like-
Does that look like a guy that's got everything figured out to
They're
you?
perfectionists. Like every little thing, they're perfectionists, and they're just absolutely insane. I enjoyed somewhat watching the game last night. I did. Tim Anderson.
Yeah, well, again,
boy.
it's
Our
an
boy.
all, like, I just, look, 3-2, cool. Is the National League ever going to win the All-Star
No,
game again?
they're never going to win.
Like, it's
Been doing
like they
this
never
my
win it.
whole life. Yeah.
I'm telling you guys, it's a glitch in the Matrix. Like every year, like the Matrix will not allow the National League to win the All-Star game.
Ridiculous.
It's just the
I don't
truth.
understand it.
It's the truth. That's how I
Grow
feel.
up.
But
Wake
it was
up.
it was all right. It was decent. Goldie, I appreciate you ruining the Nerfy. But I will say you did come through for me a couple weeks before with 2 outs and the bases loaded with the Cardinals. When
That's why I don't bet Cardinals
nerf.
Nerfies.
So
Can I be honest? I hate betting baseball. Can we just go ahead and say that? And look what we've had to bet the last.
Well, you won't
7
have
days.
to today.
I'm betting.
I
I'm betting.
today.
I'm
I don't
betting.
even know what I'm betting.
I'm betting which one of the twins from HGTV could build the house the best. I mean, I'm having to bet stuff like that. So like, I'm just again. I'd rather have baseball on. Like I don't like betting it, but I sure don't like betting what we're going to bet today, and we'll get to that later.
As it relates to Major League Baseball, does the season really start for you now, post All-Star break? How much can you take into account the first half of the season?
You set yourself up, right? To me, the first half of the season is like pole positioning in NASCAR. Like, all right, you're in a great spot. If you're the Yankees or something like that, you're sitting on top of the pole. Now, look, you just got to keep it what, Blaine?
Keep steady.
Got to be steady. All right. So for the second half, when I'm looking at the position you put yourself in, it's just like anything, but you got to finish. I mean, you're going to get to the part now where the race starts, then you're going to hit that home stretch. But again, look at what the Braves do. They got a nice formula. Early, we're figuring it out. There may be a couple injuries. You didn't put the napkins in the right drawer and the forks you put with the knives. But all of a sudden, you get past the All-Star break. I come down. It's like Martha Stewart was in there. I got forks and knives and sporks and knives and all type of thing everywhere I need it to be. I got a nice little, those little towels they put in front of the oven. What do you call those?
This sounds personal. Is this a personal?
It
are you
is.
drawing
Look,
from
Martha
experience?
Stewart got
trying to remember.
Did you not put stuff back where
I'm going to be honest
supposed
with
to
you.
go?
So we're here for the whole week, and Reed's going to be up in the house on Friday, and I'm trying to think if I put everything where I should.
I knew this was you were drawing from personal. experience.
It's getting really personal really quickly. So that's how I feel about the second half of the Major League Baseball.
Okay. I love
God,
that.
I hope I put the napkins.
God, great analogy.
Yeah.
You got to put the forks back
I mean, you got to. I mean, Martha Stewart. I mean, well done. On a
I
Tuesday.
that.
appreciate that.
on a Wednesday.
On a Wednesday,
On a
but
Wednesday. We'll get it right. Get it right.
Excuse me, isn't it former felon Martha Stewart? Didn't she get arrested for?
Nah, that's debatable.
It's still up in the air.
Let's
True.
move over
Archie,
to Madden's
Sasha
top
guy.
10 wide receiver list.
Okay.
Kind of got you hot and bothered, Blaine, over there.
This is bad.
Jamar Chase not on this list.
Blaine, just
How?
talk.
Blaine,
How?
go
But
ahead.
I'm not surprised though.
Why?
Because I'm not surprised because they make terrible games now. Their games are terrible. Just the controls and how they do it terrible. But how? And explain to me because maybe I'm just losing my mind. But
quite
how
possible.
you can look and be like, you know what? Amari Cooper's better than Jamar Chase.
I don't know.
He's better. Keenan Allen.
I don't
Keenan
know.
Allen's better than Jamar Chase.
You want me to read the list real quick?
Please.
Yes, read this
Can I get a barf
garbage.
bag?
Devontae Adams.
Okay.
He was a 99.
He's number one.
Cooper
right?
Kupp, number
Yeah.
2,
Understandable.
98. Tyreek Hill, 3 out of 97.
Okay with that.
I'm fine.
DeAndre Hopkins,
Fine with
4
it.
with a 96 rating.
Yeah.
Stephon Diggs rounds out the top 5 at 95.
Give me Jamar over Stephon, Blaine.
That's close.
I'm taking Jamar.
I respect it. No,
His
I
fellow
understand.
LSU teammate Justin Jefferson at 6 at a 93
Blasphemous.
rating.
Justice should be higher.
Mike Evans with a 92 rating.
Give me
Give me
Jamar.
Chase.
And Terry McLaurin,
Give me Jamar.
8 with a 91. And
I'm
then
taking
Keenan,
Terry over Mike.
and then Keenan Allen, and then Amari Cooper.
This just doesn't make.
How is
I don't-
Amari top 10?
I don't get it.
This is how you know they've probably never played a down of football in their life.
Okay, so you think
In their
the people
life.
making the games aren't
Yeah, like I don't understand, like because even from a fan standpoint, and I play receiver in college, so I look at it differently, and like kind of know the ins and outs of it. But I understand how you can look at Jamar Chase and be like, that kid's not a top 10 talent in the league. I don't care if it was his rookie year.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're good enough. You're good enough. And that dude is better than Amari Cooper. He's better than Keenan Allen. He's better than Mike Evans. Like, he's a top 7 receiver. I put Justin Jefferson probably at 3, in my opinion. I'd take Justin Jefferson over Tyreek Hill right now.
Man,
What about Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase? Who would you take right now if you had to pick one?
I'm taking Jamar.
Don't make me do that.
It's LSU didn't have this problem.
You have- yeah.
Like, we'll take both.
We'll take both of them.
Yeah.
I'd probably take Justin.
Really?
Jefferson.
Over Jamar.
Yeah, I'd probably.
They're both really good.
Yeah, but they're
So-
two
Well, you
different
know what? If I had a
receivers. They're two
quarterback like
different-
Kirk Cousins throwing me the ball too, I may take Justin Jefferson too. Because you know Kirk's going to put it exactly where it needs to be.
Oh yeah, that
No,
that's
no,
like
no,
to
no,
just
no,
poke at
no.
you.
Reminded,
Just like
hey,
to
do we
poke
all
at you.
remember when Jake said Kurt made that pass in the playoffs against the Saints? Who made that pass, Jake?
Anyway, so the
Yeah.
next thing we
Case
got.
Keenum, buddy. Case Keenum.
Look, they had to switch jerseys because
Right.
Kirk's jersey ripped. A lot of people don't know that. But you didn't catch me on the show. Remember, it's the day you almost caught Captain Jack Sparrow. What do we got next, Coney? Is it that 7-foot monster that got drafted in Major League Baseball?
Oh, yes.
I haven't heard about this.
Orioles. I'm sorry. I should have done that after
Orioles
the
are
All-Star
hot right
game.
now.
I missed it. Oh, yeah, the Orioles drafted a 7-foot left-hand pitcher named Jared Beck. Is this the new Randy Johnson?
No.
But taller?
Is he a lefty?
It says lefty.
Yes, he's a 7-foot lefty. So
7-foot
basically, when
lefty.
he releases the ball, he's already halfway down play. It's hard to teach a guy that's what made Randy Johnson so special wasn't just that he was that tall and lanky, is that his mechanics were so good and he had so much control to be that tall and that lanky, because it's hard to get the mechanics right. If you just think about anything in life, the bigger it is, the longer it is, the wider, whatever, the harder it is to control the mechanisms. I'm not even an engineer, and I know that. I've never built an engine in my life.
You sound
or
like
a
one,
near.
though. You sound like one.
Where was he out of?
Well, he's out of St. Leo University,
Okay.
and then he played for I think he was, he's going to go play for the Savannah Bananas or something. It's that
Savannah
team that-
Bananas.
They-
TikTok.
Formerly-
So it makes me
formerly
think
the
maybe
Savannah
he's a
Sandats.
carnival act. I just hope they're not treating this guy like a carnival act, like the bearded lady.
Here's all
you
I want
know,
to
They
see.
get like
or
a really short catcher.
The guy who.
Here's all I want to
Put him out
see.
there.
Here's all I
Like
want
a
to see.
7-foot pitcher and like a little short catcher. It's like, welcome to Savannah Bananas.
It used to be the Savannah Sandats, and we didn't have this problem about being laughed at all the time. But it seems like they're having
that's
fun.
right. That's
you know,
Savannah Sandats.
First of all, you don't want to get eaten up by a sandnat. I'm just
I
telling y'all
don't.
right now.
I
You
don't.
know, watch
I don't
out.
wanna do that.
All I want to see from this kid is grow the mullet out a little bit, drop that arm down
How good's your
3/4 right
slider?
here, okay, and wear number 51.
How good's your
I just want to see,
slider?
and then maybe hit a bird.
Look, if he
Yeah.
hits.
So that's one of the craziest moments ever in sports.
We
Randy
ta-
Johnson blew up a bird.
No, I think we talked about it the other day. I mean, it was absolutely bananas, speaking of Savannah. But 7 foot, if he can figure it out, I don't care if he's playing for the Savannah Bananas. I don't care if he's playing for the Tallberry Strawberries or the
pretty good
Port
this year.
Orange
They're good.
Oranges.
Expect
it
a lot
doesn't-
from them.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to me. If the guy can figure it out and he can mechanically get it right, if you're 7 foot and you crack the code, it can get real wicked. I mean, it can get real lemony snicket around there real quick.
I would hate to be 7 foot.
Why? I would love to be 7
I
foot.
think I'd hate it. I think like 6'7", perfect height. 6'7".
I would love
6'8".
to be 7 foot.
I don't want to be 7 foot.
Why? That's
It's
shocks
just weird.
me.
One, it'll take you forever to fall down.
You have nothing to worry about.
It'll take you forever to fall down. You look so goofy doing it. 2, everyone just looks at you like, ew.
Well, I've never
No
seen
one look at a 7 footer and be like, oh wow.
Well, I've never seen a 7 footer that like, works at Wendy's or something. I feel like if you're 7 foot, like you got to play basketball. It's not a lot of jobs.
They're all on one island.
For 7 foot.
It's like Jurassic Park.
I mean, you can't get on a submarine. You get on a plane. Everybody gets worried. They got to make they got to put 2 parachutes together if you want to jump out. Like if you're 7 foot, you know how they have to make the houses for people that are like shorter, like you can get up and see over the counter or something like that. Yeah. You ever seen like Little People, Little House? Isn't that what they call Little House?
They shrunk.
Wait,
they
isn't
shrunk Matt Damon.
Isn't that what they call Little House on the Prairie? Wasn't that about a bunch of little people that lived on a prairie? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's the wrong show.
Shrunk Matt Damon.
Maybe that was the sequel.
man.
But like they got to make your house bigger. It's like look at Lurch and the Addams Family. Why did he answer the front door? It's the biggest door in the house.
Yeah.
It just makes sense.
I don't want to spend a whole life ducking my head
Listen.
to walk through stuff.
I would like to spend my whole life dunking a basketball with the ease. That'd be great.
Well, no. What if you're 7 foot of trash at basketball?
Then that's on you. I mean,
what are you
come on,
uncoordinated? Like,
come on. I mean,
now it's the worst.
no, but you'll still make the squad. You'll
Because you're
still
7
make the
foot?
squad.
Yeah.
Yes.
You still
Vacitis?
look intimidating.
first guy
in
off
You're
warm-up.
Vacitis? You're Vacitis? Okay.
Oh man, that went off the rails.
I got
Of
it.
all the things I thought we might discuss today,
Yeah.
that was not it.
Little House on the Prairie. I'm gonna have to look that up. I'm gonna have to make sure to do my research on that. But y'all ready to get the bets?
Hey, you got some picks today? Because there's not a lot out there. There's not a lot out there.
I'm really starting to get upset at what's on the docket from betting. I mean, I've seen table tennis, I've seen track, a bunch of stuff that, to be honest with you, I don't have enough time in my day to keep track of.
Mm-hmm.
So here's what I'm gonna go with. Your favorite sport, Cone? Tennis.
Oh, you're going tennis today, huh?
Yeah, I'm gonna just take 2 people I've never heard of. Give me Paulini. You want to know why?
Ooh.
Because it rhymes.
You're
with
taking
Linguini.
Paulini? Wow.
Yeah, linguini.
What's the
good
odds on
pasta.
that?
He's minus 162, or she is. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's minus 162. Then I'm taking, I guess, his Italian buddy, Musetti. Taking this at minus 159. Okay, so give me whoever the hell Musetti is and whoever Paulini's pretending to be today.
Hey,
Who do you guys?
Those are good picks.
Thank you.
Those
Thank
are
you,
really
David.
good.
Those you're running away with.
Yeah, I was
First
going
of
to
all-
take you and did minus 120 in the next neighborhood game.
Hey,
That'd be a
we
good
could
bet.
go up to Woodfield while we're here. Shout out to the Woodfield Wombats. We could go out there and find out
A
real
team on
quick.
backyard baseball.
The lock of the day I want to take is the over on the amount of time it takes the top draft to bring over our food.
Oh, goodness.
I'm going to take the over. But other than that, I want to stay with tennis too. Dominique Thiem.
Don't look
I'm
me in
gonna
the
go-
eyes.
I'm
Don't
gonna
look
go
me in the eyes
Dominique
and say
Thiem
that.
money
Oh,
line.
God. Why'd your
Money
eyes do
line
that?
minus 190.
If you're on audio, Cone is
really
literally.
good.
If you're on audio, Cone is playing tennis while he's
Yeah.
reading these
Look.
picks. He just backhanded
Because his
one off
one
his
hand
face.
backhand is so nice. So Dominique Thiem money line, whew, minus 190. And then I'll take him to win the first set while I'm at it, minus 170. You know, this whole units play the last couple days hasn't really worked out for me. I need some picks.
Yeah, I know. Trust me, after my last month, I went for a lot of units.
You did go for a
I
lot.
know. What are you this
units.
month? Like 103?
I am, I don't know, 23 and 9?
Something like that? Well, we'll look
Something
at
like
it.
that, yeah.
Look,
All right, this is what I'm
certain
taking.
persons in
All
Scotland.
right, I'm taking Pablo Carreno Busta.
There's no way that's how that's said.
Well, the first one's Pablo for sure.
Yeah, just call him that.
He's playing Alex Molcan. He's minus 190.
Minus 190.
Should feel good. I have no idea.
You
I feel good
love
about it. The
to
odds
see
tell
it.
me enough. And then I am taking Altmaier and Struff
The quarterback from Ole
versus
Miss?
Arenz and Pale. Altmaier and Struff are minus 122. They've been working hard all year, getting their chemistry.
Yeah.
The Bill Nye class. Not a true scientist, but they're working on their chemistry.
Mhm.
And I think they bring this home. I think they really
Can I?
do.
Speaking of Bill Nye, can I tell you one of the funniest things I've ever seen? And Blaine, you've seen it too. So I was watching. I forgot how long ago this, but before we sign off, I think everybody needs to hear this. They were talking about some guy at work. They had Bill Nye on. I think it was like Larry King or something like 10 years ago, And it's when, Bill Nye the Science Guy was huge. Like, they used to show videos in the classroom about him, like how to make a balloon or whatever.
Bill.
And so they're talking about aliens. And so they had like a legitimate guy that was in the Navy for like 30 years, like in Navy intelligence. There was a scientist as well, did like photography and stuff. And he was talking about how they were photographing a rocket ship that went up one time and something came and messed with it in the air. And when they got it developed, they were like, we don't know what this is. Like the guys above them came in there. And so Larry King had this guy on and he was like, listen, we saw this UFO craft do this thing. And Bill was like, well, I really just don't believe you. And the guy looked at him and goes, look, Bill, this isn't something you can figure out with vinegar and water, buddy. Funny. I'm telling you. And everybody on the panel, including Larry King, just laughed because, again, Bill Nye is a fake scientist. You're a fake scientist. You're the guy who's sitting on the street with the things underneath the cup and it's like, all right, you pick one, all right? This is global warming and then this one is seismic shifts. And again, Bill Nye,
entertain children.
You're a fake scientist. Yeah, he's
entertain children.
He's
and I was entertained.
I was too.
And then I grew up.
Catchy intro song.
There's levels.
Bill.
No, the intro
Big Magic School Bus guy.
Catchy intro.
Miss Frizzle?
There was a lot
Frizzle.
of vinegar. They were going through a lot of vinegar for sure.
They were.
Oh, yeah.
You want baby cones picks?
Yes, get baby cones.
Casper Ruud, he also wants to stick with tennis. Casper Ruud, under 12 and a half games won. I think he thinks it's going to go like 6-4, 6-4, something like that. And then that's at minus 110. And then total games for the entire match under 20 and a half at minus 110.
Nice. Are you going to use the laser pointer training
Just
thing that Mike Leach told you?
Just wait till I get home.
Oh, man.
I've already ordered one.
He's going to be climbing up the walls like Emily Rose.
Yeah, and then what do you say? We're running drills after that.
Yeah,
running
exactly.
drills after
So
that.
we're getting the cones out here.
That's just what
Yeah.
I needed from Mike Leach.
Pun intended. That's exactly, dude. Mike's the man.
Mm.
But you can be the man or the woman or whatever you want to be. But make sure you subscribe. Appreciate you guys joining us. And like Billy Napier's chances of Florida not working out, regardless of what the guy on my right says, we're going, gone.